Wow, guys, what an insane day it was today. Um, let's go over what happened here. So immediately the first thing that I want to show you guys is the 4-hour chart. Look at what happened today. We had this massive push up in the morning into this 4-hour fair value gap, and look where we rejected. Exactly like one tick above the mean threshold or the 50% level of this 4-hour gap. So we went one tick above and we completely rejected and took out the data lows. So I guess what we want to see here is what happened today to get there. What setups could you have taken? I'm going to show you guys exactly what I took personally. And then we will go from there. So immediately, what do we see here? Well, a few different things. Number one, this was 8:30 news if I'm not mistaken. So we have the data candle high and data candle low. These are the trades that I'm talking about. When I say that there's red folder news, hold on, let me check that there's audio on this before I continue. Testing, testing. Okay, audio is working. So what do I always talk about? When you have the big wick to the upside or the downside, when you have 8:30 news, these areas become magnets for price. So for example, right here, this is a data high, so we're going to label it data high. This was the data low, but we took it out on this first candle. So what am I looking for after this is formed? Well, a few different things. I want to look for long setups, but where do you want to look for long setups from? You want to see a long setup form when it's delivering from something important. For example, right here, you can see this big area, it's an imbalance. On the 5-minute and the 50-minute, this is a bullish fair value gap. And we also swept Asia and London lows. I have Asia and London different to ICT. I know he has it, I believe it's from like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. is Asia, and then, I don't know, whatever to 8 a.m. for London. But I do it in the scales of midnight. So, for example, here at market close to midnight is Asia for me, and then from midnight until 6 o'clock is London session. So we took out my Asia and London, this internal low. This is the daily open right here. So we went below the daily open. We came down into this bullish fair value gap. If we go over to the 5-minute, we can probably see it a little bit better here. Let's see here. Where's today? Right here. So right here you can see this is a bullish 5-minute gap. So let's go back down to the 1. So what could you have taken today based on that? Well, there's a few different things. So this is where we delivered from the bullish gap. We're underneath the daily open, below Asia and London lows. So this right here is a bearish fair value gap that's disrespected with a market structure shift, rebalance into this fair value gap slash order block, and right into the daily open. So right here, right here you could have taken a long with a stop at the lows, or if you were a little bit more risk averse, a stop as a close below this fair value gap that was inverse. First take profit for me in this case would have been this 1-minute gap. There's an imbalance here, so if we wanted to be bearish on the day, that's where we probably would have rejected from. But the fact that we closed above it told me that there was no reason to even close. I mean, I did take some profits here just because. And then I left runners to the data highs. And then, of course, where did we end up? We closed above this. We went up into the 4-hour fair value gap, up into the 4-hour mean threshold, and then we dumped. So it was a pretty hectic rest of the day. What's going on here? These are equal highs, by the way, that formed on NQ. I know we're on MNQ here, but they formed on NQ as well. But would I have taken a short from here? Honestly, no. It's going to be tough. It would be tough to take a short setup here. There's not really a setup anyways that I can see. I mean, this is technically a 2022 model short, but I just wouldn't take it. This is not an obvious fair value gap. We also had these equal highs up here, and then, and then we had buy side liquidity above that. I have to zoom out to see it. But yeah, it just wouldn't have been something that I took. And what was I expecting from here? Well, I drew a 50% Fibonacci from high to low, okay? I'm going to draw this in black so you can see it more clearly. But what was I expecting? I was expecting at least the top of the 4-hour fair value gap to get balanced. So I wanted to come up here, and I also wanted to take out these equal highs. So if we were bullish on the day, first of all, another thing that gave me confidence to add longs is that we had equal highs right here. So I wanted to see a a lack of displacement below this 50% level, and I would have loved to have seen an inverse fair value gap setup form here, market structure shift, and then to take out these equal highs, and then I would have left runners to the top of the 4-hour fair value gap, and then final take profit would be these equal highs right here. But this is a way that you can know if your bias is right or wrong. So, for example, right here, when we had this 50% level of this leg, you want to see lack of displacement if you want continued bullishness. But the fact that we just closed below it and we just continued down, this big red candle right here told me that this was not a good sign. And I was thinking to myself, well, we're probably going to continue down lower here. I called out in the Discord earlier, so last night I talked about this data low right here, that I wanted that. I personally thought that we might just go to the mean threshold of this hourly fair value gap and reject, but we didn't. We went up to the 4 hours. So my bias was bearish. Now, I took this long setup because when bearish fair value gaps are disrespected, then everything is invalidated, and I'm happy to switch my bias. But on the longer term time frame, because we rejected here and we have this big displacement below the 50% level of the leg, it told me we were at minimum going down to here, and then I definitely wanted to see the data lows get taken out at some point. I wasn't expecting them to get taken out today for 100% certainty. Excuse me. But we did. So what could you have taken here? I mean, I wouldn't have taken anything. We had these equal highs that formed. I wanted these to get taken out, and I was looking for an inverse fair value gap setup to form above these equal highs. Also, that would be a retest of this hourly fair value gap to continue lower, but we didn't get it. So that was tough. We had this LRLR that formed. I think this is going to get taken out at some point, probably at market open on Sunday. We'll probably get a push up into here. But we had this LRLR, no IFVG setups that formed. No real market structure shifts back into optimal trade entry, which would be like this 1 minute down, which we didn't get. And then just random volatility at the end of the day. And then we had this huge up move. I personally took a long right here. I know it was late in the day, but it was a small size. I took it up to this internal high right here. And then also what I'm considering, if we open tomorrow and we don't really have displacement down, I think this is going to be a good area for longs, at least up to these internal highs. There are equal highs right here, if I'm not mistaken, on NQ. And we have equal highs here as well. That for sure that we have on NQ. So I want to at least see this area get taken out if we're going to continue downwards. But we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that was pretty much the day today. We had a few different setups. I want to see if there's any shorts. Yeah, I mean, not really any good shorts. So